Hi, my name is Alex Thornton, and I am currently taking computer science and software engineering. I'll be talking about our Infotech Center 4.0 program that I've been making using Python. So, uh, right here, what you're seeing is Git Kraken, which is going to show all the different codes and commits that I had made. So, each of these right here are a commit that I made to the program. You see if I can scroll down a little bit. Starting all the way from the initial commit, all the way up to here, which was my last merge. So you can see that there's multiple different branches. Over here in local, we got dev testing, driver settings, gasoline, main, weather, and welcome screen. Alright, so if we go all the way to the very bottom, we can see that the first branch that we made was, one of the first branches that we made was a welcome screen. Now, if we click, or we can obviously click into that, and we can see all the different commits that we made for this branch. So if we go over to Declaration of Independence, we can see that I simply had my programmer name, the date, what the program was, and a little description down here with some print statements as well. So I basically just made a multiple line comment saying our welcome screen will start our program, letting drivers know that the Infotech Center 4.0 OS is loading, just kind of telling what the program is going to be doing and what is going to happen in it. And then the print statement below, it's got double space, which is the / or 2 / ends, and it's basically just going to print the welcome Infotech Center 4.0 and then the loading. If we go above that commit, we can see the next one was we added some library or import libraries. So basically, what we added was we imported time into the program, so that way we could just put or use it later on in the program. We set time to sleep, we made a variable called time to sleep equals 2, and we inserted that in between the two print statements that we had earlier. So that way it would wait the 2 seconds in between printing those two statements. Above that commit, we added the ... So there's a lot more coding involved with this. So basically, we added we imported this as well, and after having the welcome Infotech Center 4.0, we made 2 more variables above the time to sleep. So we have x equals 0 and a equals 0. Alright. And we then made a while loop down here after this print statement, and it's basically saying that as long as this 0 equals, or it will keep going until this 0 equals to 20. So it will keep running through this, adding 1 to it over time. So it will keep saying x plus 1, or it won't say that, but it will keep adding 1 to the total value of x until it's equal to 20. And while it's doing that, it will print the Infotech 4.0 OS is loading, and then it also adds the dot, and then it will multiply it times multiply by 1 for each of those times, up to 3 times. Otherwise, it will reset back to 0. And then it keeps doing that until until x actually reaches 20. From there, it will print the done statement. Alright, and then we just go up to the other commit over here. We say that we see that we just made some minor changes with the print and like what we're saying. So instead of just saying done, we said mission accomplished, retina scanned, and access granted. We fixed small things like right here we see we had extra space that we didn't need, or if we changed a little bit right here with the coloring of what the words would be when printed. So one of our other branches that we did really early on was the temperature, the temperature branch down here. But I don't know why this is actually named temperature, but I think I may have accidentally changed it. But this is basically just what our initial program is going to be set out to be. It kind of creates just like a base of what everything can go off of for the different branches, because it starts off with the programmer, which is obviously me, the date it was created, and then whatever the program was. So I'm not sure why that's named temperature. I may have to fix that. But our next branch was the gasoline branch. Alright, so if we go into here, we can see that it goes off of the same thing that I just said earlier, that base that the initial thing created. Another multi-line comment This one's actually quite large, describing what's happening in the program. It's basically telling about how we will make a different function to tell us our what our fuel level's at, and it's going to figure out based off of that. Or based off of that, we're gonna have another function, and where our closest gas station is, and it's gonna tell us, or we're gonna make a function kind of combining those two things. All right, so like earlier, we imported random into here, and we started to make our function in a list. So we made gas level gauge, and then under that we made gas level list, which is equal to the different things that the gas tank could be equal to. So empty, low, quarter tank, half tank, 3/4 tank, and full tank. Then we made another variable saying current gas level equals the random net choice. So this random that we imported earlier, and then it chooses one of the these randomly from there. And then it'll just do another return current gas level list and print that. All right. So if we go to the function, or not the function, but the commit for after that, you see that we also did the same thing for the list of gas stations. So we just added the same thing basically, except instead of having the different fuel levels, we added the different gas stations nearby, and we just had to choose a random gas station just like the other one did before with the gas level. All right. Next commit is we just kind of were cleaning the program up a little bit and changing it. So you see that we just deleted two statements up here and added the comment or single line comment list of gas stations function. And then above that, we added or started to actually make the function. So in this, we're basically saying that we created gas level alert as the function, and it's going to be choosing a random one of these a random number from 1 to 25, and it's going to be around that, and we basically are doing that for each one of the different levels of gas. So if it's low, it's going to be 1 to 25. If it's quarter tank, it's going to be 20 or 26 to 50, and based off of what it chooses, it also has the if and elif and all the other statements. So basically, if our gas tank if our gas level indicator equals empty from the list that we had earlier, it's going to print warning you are empty, and then it's going to sleep or wait for 1 second, and then print calling emergency contact. Then we did the same thing for low, but different print statements and the sleep time variables in between them being printed. And then for our next commit, you can see that we kind of just finished up the function, so it actually print everything. We made we made gas level indicator equal the quarter tank, and different print statements with the sleep in between them. And we added the half tank, 3/4 a tank, and then we added full if it was any of the other options provided on the list. And it basically just says if it is full, your gas tank is full, and then hooray. Alright, moving on to our other branch. I think I'm going to go up here to weather. But if we go up here, we can let's see what's in this. So for the weather branch, what we did was, if I can find the right commit, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Oh, and this is what it fully looks like all together for the gas level, because we merged the gasoline into the dev testing branch, so you can see it all right there. This was just changing the initial program that I talked about earlier that was named wrong. We merged the dev testing into main because we knew it all worked. I'm still trying to find where we started weather. Okay, so this is the weather branch. So basically what we did, same thing as other branches, we imported random, and we made single line comments describing what's happening. We made a function with a bunch of the different weather conditions that it could be, and made that just a big list. And it's picking one of those random weather conditions from the list, and we're gonna print it later on. You can see that we made the function, and we just said print howdy to make sure that it was worked just to check to see if it worked, and we just ran that, see if it showed up. Here, you can see that we changed up a little bit, or not a little bit, but quite a few of the things. One of the first things that we did was we got rid of the print howdy because we didn't need that, because we were just checking to see if it worked earlier. Same thing with the print weather alert. So we fixed we changed some of the weather conditions a little bit. So instead of having raining, we printed rain. Instead of sunny, we said sunshine. So that way it just sounded better when we printed it. And we made our actual function down below here with our weather alert. So we basically just went through each of the different weather conditions on the list and said if weather alert equals that weather condition, then print the different changes or whatever statements that you wanted to have displayed. So, for example, if you look at the very first one, you can see if it chooses random or if it chooses snowing from one of the or from the list, it will print NWS has changed your alarm by 15 minutes because of the weather forecast, and then snowy or snowing, and VRS has been engaged, only allowing your vehicle to go 45 miles per hour. Then it does that for each one of these, and if it's not any of those, it will print NWS is calling for sunshine because that's the last one in our list. Have a safe and wonderful day. This is just kind of doing the same thing as what the other one was. We were just changing a little bit of it. Well, actually, looks like those ones were the exact same, different commits. I don't know why those were the same, but if you can see that we merged the remote tracking branch to the GitHub weather. We merged the weather into dev testing to check it, which you can see here. We added it to dev testing, which is a bunch of our program. We kind of just cleaned up a program a bit, added different or fixed spaces and lines and all that in the weather branch. We updated some of the other spacing and here as well. We merged the dev testing into main once we knew that it was all working. And now that we're getting into some of the more recent additions that I added personally. So you can see that we added on to the weather branch after we had merged it to the dev testing and the dev testing domain. What I basically did was after the function that we had created before in the weather branch, I created a new function using the same weather conditions that were previously listed. So it's basically saying if the weather alert equals snowing, and each of those, it would print the statement below. And I just filled in blah to make sure that, or see that if it was working, if it was all printing and working good. And we just put like whatever we want into that statement to make sure that it was still working. We go up here and see that we added new print statements. So we changed all the blahs out because that we knew they were working, and fixed some of our mistakes. One of the things that we forgot to do, either in the weather branch or the branch I'm going to be talking about next, is the variable or the weather alert, where we forgot to list the weather alert, which I do think is the other branch that we created. Now that I'm thinking about that, but we basically just changed it up a bit. It's what the lines were printing. This is where we created our new branch, driver settings. All right, so if you clicked it here, you see obviously single line comment talking about creating the driver preferences. We imported random like we have for all of our other branches, and basically we were planning on creating just a mega function. So we just defined each one of these and made lists for the radio, drivers, steering wheel, seat, and all those, and we created a function down here. So you can see that the original plan was to have each of the different options up here be displayed in one mega function, but we were having issues with that. And you see that we tried to do that through the radio and driver one, but we were just having trouble doing that. And like I said earlier, we forgot to do like how we had the driver alert for the or the weather alert for the other branches over here, which you can see we fixed on our next. So you see down, if we scroll down, we added the steering wheel alert, we added the radio alert, we added the driver alert. And basically why it looks so much bigger than it was before is because we had to make a separate function for each one of the lists that we had up here and have it basically just choose one of those and print them instead of having it all in one list. And finally, my last two commits that we made were the merge branch, or merging both our branches. So because we made a whole new branch called driver settings, we had to merge it into dev testing. To merge it into dev testing, we had to merge weather since we added onto it into dev testing. And the purpose of that is basically to merge all of our program before putting it into main to make sure that it all works and everything is still working or functioning properly before we push it out to our main, which is our final destination, where we will put our basically it's the main branch acts as production line. We don't want to do any editing on that, and we just wanted to fix all the mistakes and stuff before in dev testing for putting it out to main for whatever it's getting used for. So I personally like to check and run all my programs through Sublime, or edit all my programs through Sublime, which you can see here. If we go back to Get Kraken, I have dev testing checked out. So if we go into Sublime, you can see that we have that showing up as well. So all of our programs that we did before that we merged into the dev testing are going to be showing up here, which you can see with the gas level and the gas stations and all the other functions and stuff that we added into here. So you basically just go into here and you can change all the different stuff, and you can take out whatever's not working and try to mess around and fix it before to figure out the problem before we put it into the main branch and merge it. So once that we're able to do that, we can just get out of the Sublime, and we can Sublime just froze on me for a second there, but now I'm able to show you the program, obviously. So this is dev testing, so you're gonna be able to see all the programs that we merged into it on Sublime, which is where I like to edit it more than in PyCharm, but PyCharm is an option if you like that more. This just shows all of our code, which you can see it obviously is much smaller if you wanted to maneuver around or find a specific part that you want to work on. But after you think it's good, or you want to run it and see if there's any errors or anything running wrong on it, I like to open it in my terminal. So what you do is obviously you just go to Files. I go to my repositories, and we find the program, and we're just going to click Open in Terminal. I'm going to close this really quick, but from there I'm going to full screen, and basically since we're already in InfoTechCenter 4.0, all we have to do is type in Python 3 and then type and since nothing else is in there, we can just simply tab, makes it a lot easier, and enter. And you can see that the welcome Infotech 4.0 is loading, and then this is the program that I showed you from the welcome screen, and it's gonna keep this is the X that was gonna keep loading until it got to 20, and it prints all of the other statements from the other branches. So you can see some of the other branches that got printed were the weather condition. For the weather branch, you see that it picks one of the random weather conditions that I had and prints a statement according to it. And based off of that, it also prints this down here. Obviously, that because of the condition, it's going to tell you a specific message. For the personal driver settings, you can see that your seat position has been changed to close, steering wheel has been changed to medium, and then radio, and then the driver. Then obviously the gas is also shown in here. Checking gas levels, and it says warning, your gas tank is at a quarter tank, so we're getting pretty low. And then it will type what the closest gas station is and how much or how far away it is. So each one of the things have each one of the different programs have or branches have been shown in here. One thing I do think I should have changed was maybe in dev testing where I inserted the different programs from all the different branches, because it is kind of messed up and out of whack. Because you can see that it talks about the weather condition down here, but also down here after it talks about the driver settings. But that's always something I can go back and improve upon to make it even better than what it is. The next thing I'm going to show you is my GitHub. So if I pull up my Google Chrome, I go to GitHub, and if we go into here, obviously we just search it up, and since I'm already logged in, it just brings me straight to it, and you can see that our InfoTechCenter 4.0 is here as well. So if we click into that, you can see that the different branches or whatever that we're in. So we got main, the dev testing, driver settings, and all the other. And you can click into the Declaration of Independence, which is what it's called, and it'll show you all the code in that branch. Since we're in main, and we already tested in dev testing, because it's very important to do that before you put it into main, it's going to show up here. So that is all I have to show you about my InfoTechCenter 4.0 program. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys have a great day.